So we've had some news in the last couple of days about the crypto regulation stuff. So Tuesday was the David Sachs crypto czar White House press conference. It really was nothing that crazy. I mean, he continued to just talk bullish stuff about his thoughts on crypto, referred to a lot of things that people hold as collectibles and things like that. I don't think there was anything like earth shattering that he said that he hasn't already alluded to. And then Richard actually tweeted about that a day in advance. Basically just talking about things looking really positive for crypto versus the SEC. But the bigger news that came out, and maybe this is what Richard was more so alluding to because this ended up happening. So from Hester Peirce and the SEC, if you find the nuclear herbs one that links that whole, whatever you would want to call it, article or document that the SEC put out, it was from Nuclear Herbs, and he actually put the link to it in there. Got it? Okay. So, yeah, there it is. I don't know how long this is or if we can read the whole thing, but there are some key points that Hester Peirce pointed out that seem to directly affect Richard's case. So, Nuclear Herb says there are many positive comments in here. Check out paragraph 3, coin and token offerings, and think about how that would immediately apply to the lawsuit against Richard. So, we can actually just go ahead and read that part if you're able to bring up that doc. I don't know if it already maybe popped up on another. Oh, there you go. Oh Christ! I'm not reading that. Let's see here.
It's long.
So
he said the third paragraph.
Yeah, I see the word third already. If you scroll down, keep going. They literally started off third. The task force is that actually it?
I don't think so.
Wait a minute. Don't move. Hold on. Where in the hell is it? I saw a screenshot of it from somebody else too, because this thing is just boy.
Yeah, it's a lot of reading.
I think it might be that one that starts with second, actually. If you zoom in a little bit, if you're able to do a little control, yeah. So second, it took us a long time to get into this mess. It's going to take us a long time to get out of it. This is Peirce talking, I believe. The commission has engaged with the crypto industry in one form or another for the decade. The first big blah, 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 blah. Since then, there have been many enforcement actions, a number of no action letters, some exemptively, endless talks about crypto and speeches and statements, lots of meetings and blah, blah, blah. But basically, they've taken no action, is I guess what she's trying to say. Let's see here. This isn't it. Scroll up a little bit because he did say third paragraph. So maybe I should just actually count the paragraphs here. What the hell is this? When I was a child? What is this? Who's writing this?
Commissioner Peirce.
All right. I don't know what she's talking about when she was a kid.
Let's scroll down. Maybe it's here. Here we go. This is the third point. Maybe this is coin token offerings.
You're right. Yep. You're right. My bad. So the task force is also is thinking about the possibility of recommending commission action to provide temporary perspective and retroactive relief. Hold that term in mind because I think that's interesting. Retroactive relief for coin or token offerings for which the issuing entity or some other entity willing to take responsibility provides certain specified information, keeps that information updated, and agrees not to contest the commission's jurisdiction in the event of a case alleging fraud in connection with the purchase and sale of the asset. These tokens would be deemed to be non-securities, and thus there would be no uncertainty as to whether they would be able to trade freely on secondary markets not registered with the SEC, as long as the information is kept up to date and accurate. This approach would bridge the gap until a more permanent rule or legislation could be finalized. It would provide a pathway for existing tokens to find their way out of the fog of uncertainty, and that obscures a feasible path forward and would encourage the provision of greater disclosure. So what do you make of this? Because it certainly sounds like people that they have harmed and wronged, like our ecosystem, XRP, they've sued Coinbase, but I mean, they've hurt, we know ours obviously more than anything, and they've hurt Pulse Chain and Hex very, very badly for 2 years now, pretty much. So what do you make of this? And I'm particularly intrigued by that retroactive relief thing. What do you make of this? What does this sound like to you?
Well, the first thing that jumped out at me was let's back up. The argument in Richard's case, the first thing they have to do is prove jurisdiction. otherwise the case has to be dismissed if they don't have jurisdiction. So the first thing that jumped out at me was the fact that they want people to agree not to contest the commission's jurisdiction, and then kind of will give you retroactive relief, right? Now, does that put us into a bad position if we do that? Because was Richard maybe looking to countersue? There's a possibility there. So
yeah,
if you think that was part of it, then you definitely wouldn't want to agree to not contest their jurisdiction. So it puts us in a weird spot. Do you take it and say, all right, well, I guess this makes us okay until there's another administration that wants to come after us again, and then we're back at square one, right? So that was my thought. It could be a good thing. I mean, but again, you don't want to give people power. I really think we want to set precedent. I think we want to have some sort of clarity on this Richard Heart ecosystem, come out of this, and not just have a blanket, okay, here you go for now. I just don't think that's a good idea. He spent a ton of money and time with these lawyers that are the dream team, and I think they've been backed into a corner at this point. And I don't think giving up on it and saying, yeah, okay, they're gonna let us slide for now is a good approach. I just, that's my opinion. Now, I mean, there's a lot of people that are waiting for a bull run, waiting for good news, that would probably disagree with me. But I really think that you've got to have some sort of precedent that gets set and put on the books, on the law books, that says this is this and this is what was decided. And that way you can't fight it again if another administration were to come in and try and start roping people up again and pushing people against the wall and saying we're gonna change this all again. Then you have law, you have case law that says no, you can't, not to this one, because we've already got this in writing as part of case law that proves precedent, and no, you can't come after us again. So that was my first take when I read this paragraph.